Hey there, Dr. John Lee with Alpha Mega Consulting, and welcome back, or if it's your first time, welcome to the Alpha Mega Biz Dev Podcast. We teach entrepreneurs, small business owners, and very specifically chiropractic business owners, business strategies and tips that work in today's market. Today, this one is definitely for my fellow chiropractors, and I'm going to address a topic which is something that comes about when you start to really grow in your practice and your business and you're ready to scale. That word gets thrown out a lot, but when you're ready to bring someone into the office that's going to help you see more patients in your community, take some of that burden off of you, and really if your business is able to grow, you know, how do you do that? And what are the key signs? So I'll be sharing the 3 things that really tell you that you are ready to bring on an associate doctor into your practice. So first off, let me just share my background. So I've been in practice 22 years in Southern California, still in practice, part-time. I go in 3 mornings a week. Have a great associate doctor for the last 5 years who is there in the afternoons. Both of us actually work a part-time schedule and we do extremely well. Last 4 or 5 years, we've still gross collected over $1 million a year. And before that, right, so it has definitely been very good with our setup for the last 4 or 5 years. Both of us able to work part-time. It really is a dream practice type of setup for both he and I. But previously to that, I did have different types of associate doctor business models that I, learned from other mentors and consultants. And those all definitely helped me to get to where I'm at today for the last 4 or 5 years of having my dream practice. Whether it's associate doctor who is more new out of school, say fresh out of school, or maybe 2 to 5 years out of school, or whether you're ready to get a really seasoned, experienced veteran associate doctor, there are typically 3 key signs that you need to look for, or 3 factors and essentials that have to be in place for you, the business owner, to be ready to get an associate doctor. Okay, especially your very first one. If you're, on that path of getting that really seasoned associate doctor who is a veteran, and you want to work a lot less, and you want to get to that level of your business, you obviously probably have already had different associates in the past. But if this is your first associate doctor, what do you need to have in place? And so it's a common question I get as a consultant to chiropractors. But let me just get right into it. Number 1, you have to have a certain number of patient visits that you're servicing yourself per week. And you have had to really kind of hit your physical treatment capacity per week. And for most chiropractors, in the US at least, I've seen that to be around 150 patient visits to 200 patient visits per week. Okay? I remember back in 2008, end of that year, first year in my office, we got to 200 visits a week. And that was me solo with a few staff members. And that's when I felt physically I was at my capacity. I could not adjust or see any more patients per week or per day. And I really needed someone to come in to help me and to be an extension of me. So that's when I employed what I call nowadays the associate extension business model. And so brought someone who basically we could really duplicate what I was doing and really pretty much double our capacity of seeing patients and new patients and really help to carry the load with me. So when, again, you're at that capacity of about 150, 200 a week, you're seeing a lot of people, right? Whether that's a 5-day work week, Monday to Friday, or 4-day, or even 3.5 day. No matter, 200 visits is a good amount of people where you're still providing good quality care, but you're quick and efficient enough where you can see a lot of people, see a lot of new patients per week and per month. And you typically, physically, mentally, emotionally, you start to feel it. You start to feel the fatigue. There are feelings of burnout. You definitely have to plan out your vacations and your self-care, your rest, take good care of yourself. You can't go at a very, very long pace. I would say most doctors cannot keep doing that max capacity for a longer time without burning out. So that's essential number one. Your patient visit capacity has to be at a max. Again, about 150 to 200 a week is what I see for most chiropractors. It may not be all, but in my experience, most chiropractic offices are about that mark to really consider an associate chiropractor. Second essential or factor that needs to be in place is your gross collections. It needs to be a certain amount. You need to be able to afford bringing on an associate doctor and cover their base salary and offering them a fair bonus structure as well. And so from my experience from my office and helping a lot of chiropractors over the years get their first and second associates, that gross collections mark is a range between $40,000 to $60,000 a month. So 40 to 60K a month gross collections. You're typically safe and will be able to afford an associate doctor, base salary, and some bonus structure. You obviously need to have a net profit with a certain percentage. So if you are very high in your expenses, then that gross collections mark may need to be higher. Okay, but what I teach doctors of chiropractic is that your gross collections, when all the expenses are factored in, you should have a net profit of about 50 to 70%. So reverse of that, your expenses should be in the 30 to 50% range. Okay, so let's just say, for example, just an even number, $100,000 gross collecting office, their expenses should be 30 grand to 50 grand max per month. Hopefully more towards 30 grand. More lean is better, more net profit for the business. So if you're collecting very consistently between 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 a month, then and your expenses are in that 30 to 40, 50,000, or I'm sorry, 30, 40, 50% range of your gross collections, then you should be able to afford an associate doctor. Okay, because the last thing you want to do is hire an associate doctor and then not really be collecting enough to pay the doctor, and then now you're risking really having very little take-home net for yourself. Okay, so that's essential number two. Okay, gross collections needs to be at a certain mark, and I would say there should be probably at least a 3-month continuous streak of being in that gross collections mark. Okay, so to let you know that your business is stable. Key factor number 3, or essential, that needs to be in place is, can you guess? New patients. So you need to have a steady stream of new patients coming in per month, okay, to be able to, again, keep this business operating at a certain level, because when that associate doctor comes in, you can grow. So if you have enough new patients, then the new doctor can be assigned handling these new patients and taking care of these new patients over their relief and corrective treatment programs and beyond maintenance care. But you need enough new patients so that associate doctor can grow and can also hit their bonus marks. Okay, so this can range. Okay, also depends on your new patient case average. Okay, so if you have a high case average of, say, well over 2,500, and I think 2,500 is really like the mark. Most chiropractic offices in today's day should at least be at that mark per case or above. But if you got a high case average, like say 3,000, 4,000 per case, and obviously maintenance care payments for patients factors all into this case average. But if you have a high case average, you don't need as many new patients. If you got a low case average, if your treatment plans don't cost that much, they're a lot cheaper. Maybe not a lot of different services are in there. It's very basic as far as what's provided in these care plans. Then you have a lower case average. You need a lot more new patients. Okay. But if I had to kind of throw a range out there, I'd say you have to at least be seeing about 25 new patients a month or more to be able to support hiring an associate doctor. And more the better. Okay, so, and this is where marketing plans, marketing strategy, marketing meetings, setting up different marketing faucets, as I like to call it, really come into play. Because if you get that associate doctor in, like say, first of all, if you're the senior doctor, the owner, maybe are seeing 25 new patients a month. Okay, bringing on another physical body, another doctor of chiropractic, that doctor should be able to see another 25 months. So you really double your capacity to 50 a month. And so if you set up your marketing game properly, hopefully then you can get that additional 25 a month, or at least 20 additional per month, to be in that 45 to 50 new patients a month range. And that associate doctor is going to really flourish, hit their potential, help your office grow, make your business even stronger, stable, and more sustainable. Okay. So if you're in the low new patients a month, or it's very, very volatile, it fluctuates. Like 1 month you might get 25, then the next month you might barely get 10, then it's 35, then it's 5, then that's really risky, okay? Because you're going to have some months where you might find it harder to pay your associate doctor, and also the associate doctor is going to go through ups and downs of their bonus, and you don't want that. You want to have a very stable business with stable, predictable gross collections, where not only can you pay very comfortably your new doctor and not stress as a business owner, but also you want your associate doctor to bonus basically month after month after month, and really get rewarded for their hard work. Okay, but you don't want them to feel that there's instability or volatility in their pay with your practice. So yeah, new patient game has to definitely be strong, so that you have no worries. If you've got a waiting list practice, like say you've got 2-3 week wait for a new patient to be able to come in, I mean, that's ideal. Then an associate doctor typically will be able to be assigned new patients on a regular basis at their capacity, hopefully. Okay, so again, to summarize, one, you need to be at your patient treating capacity, typically 150 to 200 patient visits a week. 2, your gross collections monthly needs to be in about that $40,000 to $60,000 a month range. And 3, you need to have a steady stream of new patients coming in month after month, very predictably. And even better yet, hopefully then once an associate doctor comes, you can create and open up more marketing faucets to really stream in more new patients consistently to your business and practice. And what does that ultimately do? It helps more patients in your community, right? So I know we're talking about business on this podcast, but really when you talk about the human aspect, when you bring on an associate doctor and you're scaling in the way of expanding your business, you're ultimately helping more human beings in your community who need your help, who need really great chiropractic care and services, and you're helping people, your fellow people. Okay. And we're not going to cover on this episode, but then the next year after that, obviously, is hiring very seasoned associate doctors. I call that the associate independent model, where if you're the business owner, now you can start to step down and work less, which is what I've been doing for the last several years. And not worrying about your business is still very, very healthy and runs very well. But that requires, a few more key essentials, which again we won't cover on this episode. Now, with those 3 keys or essentials of knowing when you're able to get an associate doctor, if even one of those is off, okay, I would hold off. It's always good to play it safe. Okay, really have all 3 of those in place. Okay, so if you have hit your max capacity, but your collections is fluctuating, maybe it's like in the 25,000 a month range, and your new patients are just around 10 or a dozen a month, don't get an associate. Okay, you're not ready. You're not going to be able to afford that doctor salary and bonus comfortably. That doctor won't be bonusing, so they won't be happy and they won't stick around very long. So just because your treating capacity is a max, but you're not making enough for seeing new patients, don't just pull the trigger and get an associate. Okay, because you'll very, very quickly feel the pain of that within the first 1, 2, 3 months of hiring that doctor and feeling that obligation financially to that doctor. Okay, and I've seen that happen with several clients of mine. They would just jump the gun and just pull the trigger and hire too quickly, and then they quickly regretted it, and they would have to let go of the associate doctor and then wait until those other 2 keys were set up. Okay, say you have hit your capacity, but you're collecting 40 to 60K, but you really struggle with new patients, again, I wouldn't pull the trigger. Okay, those new patients are really what keep the business going. Okay, now if you have, say, hit your capacity in treatments, 150, 200 visits a week, you're getting a good 25, 30 new patients a month. Those two factors are in place, but your gross collections is really low. That means your case average, there's a problem. Your treatment plan costs are not where they need to be. They're probably very, very low. So you got to fix that. Okay, you need to fix that before you can pull the trigger. You need to get your gross collections up. Okay, so again, all three factors really need to be in place for you to make a smart decision on hiring and implementing an associate doctor into your practice. Okay, very, very risky if even one of those factors are not in place. Now, if all three are in place, you're good to go. Green light, let's do it. Let's find that associate doctor and really expand and grow your practice. Okay, and then obviously looking for and hiring an associate doctor, the whole hiring process, there's definitely a method to that. Again, we'll save that for another episode. Or, obviously reach out to us if you need immediate help on the associate hiring process, because we do have a clear system. We have a whole module in our training program dedicated to associate doctor business models and hiring and training. So hopefully this helps. Okay, so if you are watching and you are pretty close, or you've been itching to get an associate doctor, hope this gives some clarity. Again, based on my 20 plus years of being in practice and also having helped a lot of chiropractors hire their first associate or second associate and manage their associate doctors. I know this inside and out, right? So I'm telling you the truth. These are things that you really have to look out for and have in place. Because I want you to safely make this big decision of adding an associate doctor if this is where you're at with your career. Okay, and if you're at that point, I applaud you. It's an exciting time, really, really exciting to hire that first associate doctor, and it means your business is doing well. That means it's a testament to your work, of the good work that you put out in your community, and all the education, training that you've had in the past, and the hard work you've been putting in for years. That means you're doing a lot right, and your practice is hitting these next levels and milestones to grow and getting closer to your dream practice. Okay, which is ultimately our goal with Alpha Omega Consulting, is teaching our clients and fellow chiropractors and also healthcare professionals of different types to achieve their dream practice. All right. Okay, guys. So take that information and apply it. If you do need deeper help, beyond this, we'd be happy to get on a call with you and see which of our coaching services would be the right fit for you, or which one of our courses or programs will be right for you. Tune in. We'll be back in about a week or two with another fresh episode. So Dr. Lee here with Alpha Omega Consulting, and this has been the Alpha Omega Biz Dev Podcast.